All right, Shalom. First, I'd like to start by sending out praise to Yahweh, Bashim Abishai, Bashim Kakadash, and my honors to the elders and the apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerely. This is another precept or a couple verses. James chapter 1, start verse 12. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation. Temptation means to be tested. For when he is tried, tested, he shall receive the crown of life which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. Right. So if you're, but he has to pass the test. You know, it says, "Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of the Most High. For the Most High cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed." So basically, the Lord set before you good and evil, even though He controls both of them. You know, it lets the devil take the left hand side. Still say, "For God cannot be tempted with evil." It says, when it says, then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Right. So when you out here getting tempted in the world, certain sins unto death, like adultery. Taking the MOTB, that's part of a test, that the Lord will kill you for. So hold on, let me get these definitions real fast. It says, blessed is the man who endureth temptation. That endureth temptation. Look up endureth, and then we'll look up temptation. Endureth.
Strong's G 5278. Hupamano. Hupamano.
Right. Greek word. The New Testament written in Greek. To endure, to persevere under misfortunes and trials, to hold fast to one's faith in Yahushua. To endure, bear bravely and calmly ill treatments. I've got it right here again. Endure, from Etymoline, as you can see, etymoline.com. The true sense of the word. Late 14th centuries when this came about, which means the 1300, which is a verb to undergo or suffer, especially without breaking. Also to continue in existence, from Old French endurer, 12th century, which means 1100s, make hard, harden. That's what enduring does. It makes you harder as a person. The spirit is hardened. To bear, tolerate, keep up, maintain. See from Latin, endurare, make hard. It makes you hard. Stronger person, stronger skin, stronger spirited. In late Latin, harden, the heart of the mind. Against, from, durare, to harden. Duress, hard. So it's to make you harder as a person. You don't easily get offended. You don't easily get tempted. You can go without, or you can endure pain, suffering, affliction. Right. So that's what the word endure means. Temptation. Strong 3986.
Strong's G 3986. Pyrasmas. Pyrasmas.
Thus, mas, which means an experience, attempt, a trial, proving, trial made of you by my boldly condition. Okay, the trial of man's fidelity, integrity, virtue, an enticement to sin, temptation, whether arising from the desires or from the outward circumstances, an internal temptation to sin, of the temptation by which the devil sought to divert Yahushua the Messiah from his divine errand, of the condition of things, or a mental state by which we are enticed to sin. Adversity, affliction, the temptation. All right, let's see what it says in the etymology. Temptation, a noun, temptation, act of enticing someone to sin, right? Also an experience or state of being tempted, right? From Old French temptation and directly from Latin temptation, temptationem. Noun of action from past participle stem, tempted, to feel, to try out. You've been trying it out, you've been tempted. It was tempt a person to sin. Tempt as a verb, 1200 century, which is 1100s. Tempting of the devil, flesh, etc. Draw or entice to evil or sin, lure someone from God's law by alluring or seductive. So when you think what is one temptation, the tempt and the definition of it, just know that temptation comes when you've been drawn away from God's law. Which means the law, another sense of saying that the law is not done away with. Now, girl, I was tested today. I was tried. You know, these church bitches be talking. What is the trial and your test against? What is the standard? You know, that's put against the law of the Most High, man. So y'all don't be understanding what y'all be saying. Y'all just be talking. But it says by alluring or seductive. Tempter, tempted, directly from Latin temptere, to feel, to try out, to test. Right? Temptation is a test. Test you to sin or not, you know? So let me go back to this precept. James chapter 1. Let's start verse 12 again. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, endureth the test, the trial. For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life if he pass the test, which the Lord was promised to them that love him. They're going to receive the kingdom of heaven, those that pass the trials and the tests that's going on now and to come. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of the Most High, for God cannot be tempted with evil. Right? We have a righteous way of doing things, and you ought to follow the righteous way. And there's a wicked way of doing things. So if you go off into the wicked side, then that's your ass, and that's you being tempted by the devil. You know, even though the Lord controlled man's footsteps, that's how he wanted to be looked at. Neither tempted he any man, but every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed, right? So you've been tempted to sin by going off into another philosophy that's outside of the scriptures, like Eve did to Adam. And then Adam went off, and then the curses came. Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Right? That's when death came into the world, when Jacob started sinning. So, you know, we was in the beginning. We had power. You know, all our blessings and things were taken away from us. He said, "Do not err, my beloved brethren." Right? You know, our years were longer, etc. You know, that got taken away from us eventually. So with that said, I'm going to end this lesson. Call Allah Yahweh Bashim al-Shah, Bashim al-Kakadash, give honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.